So let's go to June here. He's our next caller. June, you can unmute yourself. Hello.
Yeah, this is in South Korea, Walker Hill Casino. It's for foreigners.
Right, because in Korea you have to you have to show a foreign passport to play, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the only casino that holds poker tables.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you Korean, by
And
the way?
yes, I'm Korean American. I'm from Virginia.
So you just show your U.S. passport?
Yes.
I always wonder, like, how, there's probably got to be a good chunk of Koreans, right, with U.S. passports that play in that place.
Yeah, yeah, but mostly they are Chinese,
Chinese.
American, Russians. Yeah.
Okay, so what's the size of the game?
It's two five.
Okay, we're gonna say
It's
like two $5 equivalent, sort of.
yeah, it's 2001, 5,000 Korean won, but
About
it's
two
two
five.
dollars.
Okay.
Yeah,
And how deep are you? What's the effective stack?
2,300. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
At the equivalent of $2, $5. So pretty deep, like 400 big blinds deep.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
And the opponent, the villain, covers me.
Okay. So villain covers. Okay.
So the pre-flop when I was the UTG plus one
Okay.
from seven people. Yeah, there were supposed to be nine people, two people left to eat. I think. Yeah. So it
Okay.
was seven, yeah. Yeah. From UTG plus one, I opened to $20.
Okay.
I'll just say in terms of dollars.
Yeah. No, that's perfect. Perfect.
Okay, with King ten of hearts.
King 10 of hearts.
Yeah.
Okay.
And cutoff calls and button calls. So three way to the flop.
So cutoff calls, button calls. So we're looking at about maybe 60 or 65 to the flop. I'll put 65. Okay.
So the flop comes three hearts, nine of hearts, and ace of spades.
Three of hearts, nine of hearts, ace of spades. Hero has king of hearts, 10 of hearts. So you flop the king high flush draw.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and I see bet to $35.
All right. So hero bets 35, which is just under two-thirds. I mean, you could probably go to, again, multi-way sort of theory is that you're supposed to go slightly less, but I think with two people in a live game, I think you can almost default to heads up sizing. I have no problem going to two-thirds here. So you go 35. Okay.
And cutoff folds and button calls.
All right. So cutoff folds and button calls. And what we know, of course, is that the button can be wider here, because he's not overcalling, right? And he's closing the action. So unlike if the cutoff called, the button probably can have any pair here, a 9x. He might continue with some pocket pairs, something like that.
And the turn comes seven of diamonds.
So 7 of diamonds on the turn. Okay.
And I see bet again to $90.
So right now the pot's about 135. So you double barrel for like two-thirds. I might actually go a little bit larger, but okay. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I was trying to fold out any 9x hands or like any
Right.
pocket. Yeah, ace
Anything
or
probably except for an ace. Let me ask you, even before you tell me what happens here, if he calls and you just brick out, are you giving up or what's the plan?
then if he calls this, I think he probably has like ace X-ish of hands.
Yeah.
And I was gonna triple barrel big on the river to just fold out. If heart doesn't come out, I was gonna triple barrel hard to fold out ace low kicker-ish hands.
This isn't, before we go on with the hand, this is just an interesting one for people that sort of maybe haven't really thought about this one, because it's very, very interesting in terms of what we call MDF here, which is minimum defense frequency. So just bear with me here, caller, and you can sort of play along with what I'm saying. If the button squeezes, let's go back, and we're kind of, this is like chess, we're thinking back and forward and moves. If the button squeezes here against an open and a call with, say, ace jack suited plus, ace queen off, and ace king, if he always squeezes pre as a 3-bet, okay, then if he has ace little here, say he's got like ace 6 suited, ace 8 suited, let's say he's even squeezing with ace 10 suited. Maybe he calls with ace 10 off. If he has a hand like ace 8 here, and let's say the river's like a deuce, and you plow through again, in theory, from MDF purposes, he is absolutely supposed to call down here with an ace, because it's one of the better hands that he's going to have, because he doesn't have ace king, ace queen, ace jack, and ace 10. Now, obviously, he can have some aces up here or sets, but it is something that probably a lot of live players don't understand. And as you get more advanced, this is how you start to think about, oh, what should I call with against a good player? How do I figure out what I should call with? Well, how would I construct my pre-flop holdings in a given scenario? So, people may, I'm not going to call like $400 with ace eight, and they don't realize that ace eight might be one of the better hands that they have. That's just thinking about this in a different way. But okay, so you bet 90 on the seven of diamonds. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, and button calls again.
All right, so button calls again. So now the pot looks like it's 315. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And the river comes eight of hearts.
All right, so the river's the eight of hearts. So you make the front door flush. The board is ace of spades, nine of hearts, three of hearts, seven of diamonds, eight of hearts. No pair on board. Okay.
Here, I size it down so that I can induce a bluff. So, and yeah, I was trying to get or re-raised by my worse than king high flush hands, like two pairs, sets, trips, lower flush. So I only bet half pot, $150.
All right. Well, June, okay. So Hero bets a couple things about this. You bet 150. Number one, if you were trying to actually like induce a raise here, like with some sort of block bet, this is not block sizing. Like you would want to bet like 50 here, 50 or 75. So that's number one right off the bat. So I don't think you're inducing a raise by going 150 here. Number two, I have a real problem with trying to induce a raise here on this particular board specifically. And the reason why is because if your opponent has ace X here, they're not going to turn that into a bluff. Number two, you say, well, sets, two pair. We haven't heard from this guy by the turn. So he's going to call with sets, and then you're hoping he raises with the set when the front door comes in. So that's the issue that I have with this line of thinking in this particular hand. But right off the bat, 150 is not block sizing, in my opinion. Yeah.
I agree. But I thought if I went too little, I wasn't. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
No, I mean, if you're trying to induce a non-flush to raise, this is not going to be the sizing. But I do take exception, though, because I don't think even if you use smaller sizing, non-flushes are going to raise. Nor do I think that he has many non-flushes to even think about raising, unless he ran into like ace eight here.
What do you think if he had something like 9-10-ish, like he doesn't want to fold middle pair from the start,
and then he just turned it into a bluff? You mean at the end?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, he wouldn't do that, right? He was just
I mean that he'd be more likely to turn 9-10 into a bluff than like I think some ace.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean that's giving some people a lot of credit. A lot of live players don't turn a whole lot of stuff into bluffs. Mm-hmm. So okay, so you go 150.
And button re-raises to $550.
All right, so the button raises to 550. Now, by the way, I mean, I keep repeating the board, but again, on the flop, it's ace of spades, nine of hearts, three of hearts. So the nut flush draw is possible, right? Mm-hmm. It's not ace of hearts. So the nut flush draw here is possible. So you bet 150, which is a little bit under half the size of the pot, and the button raises here to 550. This seems for me to be just a square call. And the reason why is you can just run down the combinations here, right? You have king 10 of hearts. So when you take a look at the way that a live player constructs pre-flop, let's say he plays every ace X of hearts holding, he's going to have he's going to have at least 6 or 7 ace X of hearts holdings. There aren't going to be that many lower flushes here that would make me even think about probably clicking this back to a 3-bet. I mean, I'm never folding here, but you'd really have to count them out, like queen jack of hearts, queen nine of hearts, a lot of midish suited connectors, which are kind of sort of paired up here. I think that if you just counted, there would be more ace X of hearts holdings. So
yeah, and I went tank mode too. I was thinking, should I re-raise all in, because he can't rejam me because I'm going all in, 2,100 left, right? And I was thinking, okay, does he have lower flush than me, like 4, 5, 6, 7, queen jack, jack 10, queen X, like, or does he have set two pair? I mean, I under-repped my hand. I thought I under-repped my hand. in the
How did
river
you under rep your hand?
because I have pop bet. I was representing like ace king, ace queen. So is he trying to? Does he? So I was thinking, does he think that I have ace king, ace queen, ace x hands, and he's re-raising me with set or
Dude,
lower flush?
I don't think you under-repped your hand. You bet all three streets and you went 150 at the end. Like, I don't think this is, I mean, just because you went 150 instead of like 200. I mean, you can count. So let's say, for example, I mean, here's the thing, right? So in order for you to re-raise all in, right, when you're called, first of all, you have to get called and be good more than 50% of the time, okay? Because he's never calling with bluffs and stuff like that. So if you were to say, my opponent will call with all flushes. He'll call with all flushes. Okay. Let's say that my opponent will raise any flush and he will call with any flush. Now, that might not be the reality of it because it's more of a reality that he probably won't raise fold any flush, but I don't even know if he's raising any flush. But let's say that that's the case. Then you can simply count the number of combinations of V-pipped hands that he would play that are lower than king-high flushes.
Yeah, that's what I did when I went to Techno. He had like ace deuce, ace four, ace five, ace six, ace seven, ace jack of hearts. That was 6 combinations, 6 combos.
Ace
like
deuce, ace four, ace five, ace six, ace seven, ace 10, ace jack is like what, 7 or 8, something like that.
Oh yeah, probably like 7, 8, 7. Yeah.
Okay, and then the queen high flushes can just be queen jack, and because you've got the king in the 10, if it's viable, if he's not playing queen 8, and then what, you'd have to find a lot of middle-ish suiting connectors. The 9 and the 8 are out there, so it'd have to be like 5, 7, 5, 6, right?
Yeah, jack 9.
I don't think you have. Oh, jack 9. No, then there's a 9 out there on the flop. I don't think you have it. That's what I'm saying. Right. Yeah, I don't think you have it. So.
No,
Yeah.
So you would just call here, right?
I think that you're up against more ace high flushes, and I also don't think that smaller flushes always raise and then call. So that's the other thing too. I would cut one of the smaller flush combos out.
Uh-huh. I mean, I knew this player, and most of the players here cannot fold any flushes.
That's fine, and I tend to agree with you. If they raise, they're not going to fold. But my contention though is that they're not raising every flush all the time. So I would cut one of the smaller combos out, and I think that we just did it. That there's more ace high flushes here, and no, I don't think he's raising like. Well, even if he was raising like a set or a straight or something like that, let's say that's not going to be a raise. I mean, that he's not going to call off to a jam. But I don't think that any of those things are really going to happen. So I would call for those reasons.
Okay. And last question. Let's say if I had $4,000, $5,000 more, and he covers me, if I'm not gonna re-raise in that situation, should I not re-raise here? Because I raised here because I'm not gonna get rejammed.
You're talking about when you're deeper, you have the ability to raise fold in this particular scenario, where here because I mean, I suppose you could click it to 1,000 and consider folding to a jam, but no, I mean, when you're deeper, you have more leverage to like raise fold, but it still doesn't make it right though. Just because you're deeper, it's the same equation. You're jamming here. Right? You're jamming here. We go through the same equation. You have to be called and be good more than 50% of the time. It's the same thing if you were deeper and you put in a raise. You still have to be good more than 50% of the time when called. So it doesn't really change anything. What happened? Did you jam?
Yeah, so I rejammed $2,100.
Uh-oh. I don't like it.
But I tank rejammed, right?
Okay,
and then
you tank rejammed. Uh-huh.
But button tank calls.
If he tank called, then you're good, right?
Yeah, he tank calls. And he shows ace of hearts and 8 of spades.
What? He had ace 8 off?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Well, that's crazy.
So I was 1 heart away from losing that $2,100.
So that's funny. I mean, I can tell you what happened there was that your hand was overplayed. honestly, from looking at this on paper, you kind of overplayed your hand, and he convinced himself that you would never do this with the lower flush, and he held the ace of hearts and he called.
Yeah, yeah, because he had the ace of hearts. So
Right.
yeah,
But I mean, I still don't think that's necessarily fine.
yeah.
All right,
I,
Jin.
I I regretted when I saw the hand because I was one heart away from dying, losing
Why
definitely
did you
100.
regret it though? Didn't you win? You won the hand, right?
I mean, yeah, but long run, like I was asking myself, is this repeatable, like in the long run? And I thought, I don't
You
think
got a
so.
little bit lucky. You got a
Yeah,
little
I
bit
got
lucky.
lucky here. Yeah.
No, I appreciate the call. Thank you very much, June.
All right. Thanks, Bart.
All right.